agreeing to be here at extremely short notice. My name is Shailesh Rai and I work at Amnesty India. I just want to check that your media kit should contain an English copy of the press release and the briefing that we're releasing today. If you want a Hindi copy, you can collect it outside whenever it's convenient for you. The briefing we're releasing today is a chronicle of the crackdown by the Chhattisgarh government on media and civil society over the last 9 months. Many of these incidents have already been reported individually in the media. We wanted to bring together these different reports to provide a wider picture of the environment that journalists, lawyers and activists work under in Chhattisgarh and the reports of human rights violations that the Chhattisgarh government appears to be determined to cover up. 4 local journalists in the Bastar region are still in jail on politically motivated charges. A journalist and 2 human rights lawyers have been hounded out of Jagdalpur. Activists Soni Sori and Lingaram Kurupi have been attacked. And all this has happened against the backdrop of reports of fake encounters and surrenders of Maoists, allegations of large-scale sexual violence by security forces in 3 separate incidents, and violations of prisoners' rights. Abusive laws like the Chhattisgarh Special Public Security Act, which violates international human rights law and standards, continue to be used. Just a few days ago, following the media investigation into the links between the Chhattisgarh police and the Samachar Manch, a vigilante group which operates in Bastar, the Manch said that it would cease to exist. But this by itself is unlikely to change things in Bastar. Along with the report, what we've also tried to do is facilitate interactions with some of the human rights defenders who've been profiled in the briefing, who can speak to you in much more detail about the situation there. With us is Bela, Bhatia, a noted independent researcher and human rights activist, who's been subjected to a vicious campaign against her by vigilante groups. Isha, Khandelwal, a human rights lawyer from the Jagdalpur Legal Aid Group, which provides free legal aid to under trials, particularly Adivasis who've been arbitrarily arrested. This group too has been vilified for their work and pressure into leaving Bastar. We also have Kamal, Shukla, a journalist with the Hindi newspaper Bhumkal Samachar, and the General Secretary of the Patrikar Suraksha Kanun Samyukt Sangharsh Samiti, an organization which was created last year to safeguard the rights of journalists in conflict areas. From Amnesty, we have Mahtab, our campaigner, who is part of the team that compiled the report. Aakar, Patel, our executive director, will moderate the discussion. Before the discussion starts, we'd like to first officially release the briefing and then play a quick 3-minute video, and the discussion will start there. If anyone is live tweeting about the event, we ask you to use the hashtag Bastar-Blackout.
Should we all stand up and just hold it up? Thank you.
We'll just play a short video now.
Human rights defenders in Chhattisgarh have been under threat and under attack for a long period of time. There is a real breakdown of the accessibility to justice of people in this area.
There is journalists like who are live right there in the middle of the conflict, who get the stories out, who take information, who talk to villagers. They are the ones who collect and gather all the information and then give it to their newspaper.
बहुत अच्छा काम किया। मैं बहुत खुशी है कि मेरा बेटी ऐसा काम कर रहे थे। मैंने उनको खुद ही बोलती थी मत करो करके, लेकिन अब जान के किसके काम करते थे और कैसा काम करते थे मेरे को पता है।
Many local police officers, they are not too thrilled about the way the voters work, so they try to pressurize them. There have been such complaints.
एक ऐसा नीति बना लिया वहाँ पे वीडियो बनाने के उसके बाद से तो बिल्कुल इसके सारे पत्रकारों को लोकल जितने पत्रकार इतना डराए गए धमकाए गए कि अब वो हिम्मत नहीं कर पाते हैं कुछ सच लिखने का। इसी बीच में हमारे 2 साथियों को नक्सलियों ने मार डाला कि पुलिस के हाथ में नहीं करते।
कई तरीके से
के प्रताड़ित करने का अपने तौर तरीके, तो ये एक ना बहुत बड़ा एक प्रेशर हमारे ऊपर दबाव कि कब इन लोग हमको उठाएंगे, कब हमको मारेंगे। तो आज ना और एक नया डर सा पैदा हुआ कि हम यहाँ के मुद्दों के लिए काम करेंगे या ना, लिखेंगे या ना।
तो मुझे सारे भी बहुत गंदे रूप से काटे हुआ, इससे पहले भी कई प्रताड़ना दिए गए, अभी भी स्टार्ट से हो रहा है। तो इन प्रताड़नाओं से मुझे ये नहीं है कि इससे मेरी मनोबलता टूट रही है या कमजोर हो गई हूँ, बल्कि इससे मेरी और मनोबलता बढ़ते जाती है और इससे मैं कमजोर नहीं होती।
तो किसी एक मजबूर समाज का मदद करना, जब उसको किसी चीज की शिक्षा देना, वो क्या देशद्रोह? ये तो नहीं होना चाहिए। ये सरासर संतोष के साथ में बहुत ज्यादती है।
अभी तो मैं बहुत ही परेशानी हूँ क्योंकि मेरे छोटे छोटे बच्चे लोग हैं, इन लोग की पढ़ाई लिखाई की पैसा नहीं करते। मेरी छोटी सी बच्ची है, उसे मैं कैसे पालूंगी? जो मेरे खिलाने वाला खेल गए, मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ?
Thank you all for coming. I'd like to start this discussion with a question to Bela Bhatia. I'll ask her to sketch the background of what we've just seen and also to ask her what is different today from the way it has been in the past when the Salwa Judum was banned.
So this is a question which we need to ask, which is what, if anything, has changed for the ordinary people of Bastar? In this respect, what we find is that we are looking back at a whole decade of violations, of silencing, of a state where there has been acute militarization without any phase of respite. You know the whole story, more or less, about how the Salwa Judum started in 2005 and so on. As far as militarization is concerned, for example, that time there was something like 40,000 troops. Today there are 42,000 troops. And I'm just speaking about the paramilitary alone. So what it means is that for every 50 citizens of Bastar, there is one paramilitary person. I think this makes Bastar perhaps the most militarized zone in the country. In terms of the difference then and now, in this respect, that is militarization and impunity, what we find is that besides the strength of the paramilitary, if you look at the police force, so that time the state needed the SPOs who were created in late December 2005, and the SPOs were created because they wanted, known hands like tribals from the region, youth from the region who knew the terrain, who knew the area, who knew the villages, and who knew the people or the activists. Now today, in that respect, what we find is that there has been great augmentation of the district police force. So the Bastar region, as you know, has 7 districts, and out of the 7 districts, 3 districts are the ones where we are witness to this acute, conflict, or what we call the war zone. So these are the districts of Bijapur, of Dantewada, and of Sukma, which were all part of the earlier undivided Dantewada district. So what we now find is that the state has many different types of police force at that level. So they have, in the years, we have seen Koya commandos. We have seen now there is a course for the last 3-4 years called the District Reserve Guards. So, for example, this has again, direct recruits through advertisement, but like something like 50% are recruits of this kind, but then the other 50% are made up of surrendered Maoists. So therefore, today, if you must have heard about the new social mobilization that has been happening, the Samajik Ekta Manch, the Mahila Ekta Manch, the Adivasi Ekta Manch, the Naxali Pidit Sangharsh Samiti, in Sukma there's some Atankwadi Virodhi Sangharsh Samiti, in Dantewada there's some Vikas Sangharsh Samiti. So basically in every district now you're seeing these Sangharsh Samitis. Now this is through something which is quite open and it's acknowledged by the police, by the administrators like the collectors, that it is like quite an open thing that these formations are part of an extension of in some ways the police effort. These are persons who are going to help the government. They are persons who are going to help the police in its task. Now the task of the police, the task of the paramilitary will be done through use of force, but these persons, unlike the earlier Sarvajudum, where the Sarvajudum as a vigilante force had to be armed or was armed, or in its various phases, like a good percentage of it was armed. But today they don't need to give arms to these vigilante forces, because you have tribals bearing arms in very legal formations, but doing very illegal things on the ground, but legal formations like the District Reserve Guard, the Koya Commandos, etc. So therefore, in terms of both, what is the sort of what is the kind of militarization on the ground? Another thing which needs to be pointed out is where not much or nothing has changed at all is the joint operations. So even today, like we continue to see joint operations which involve the police and the paramilitary. So therefore, the nexus again, between these various arms-bearing forces is very clear. And then as I pointed out earlier, the nexus between the police, the paramilitary, and this special, social mobilization and social formations. So therefore, as far as our desire or our expectation or our hope to see a pro-people police, so there is a complete absence, and has been a complete absence of a pro-people police in Bastar for the last 10 years, and before perhaps, but in a very acute way in the last 10 years. And the